Welcome to the Conscious Kink Podcast with Miss LX. Let's jump into today's episode.
All right, Silver and Suede, whenever you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and talk until you say something. What's up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good evening, my friend.
How are you?
I'm doing so well. Everyone say hello to Silver and Suede. Is this your first time here with us?
It is. This is my first time.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we are so glad you're here. Have you been enjoying our time together so far tonight?
I love it. This community has been so awesome. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the hard work that you do and how wonderful everybody is.
Oh, well, I really appreciate that. And I definitely could not do it without all of these wonderful, beautiful souls. You included, Silver and Suede. So what's going on tonight? How can I help you?
Well, I spent, believe it or not, a couple of times writing out a question, and it's a little bit long, and I just can't. It's going to end up probably being multiple questions.
Okay.
And I know that we've talked a lot about probably what I'm bringing up, but I've been in let me give you a little background. So I've been in my DS relationship, which is long distance, for 18 months, or well, since January of 21.
Okay.
And I was introduced to my Dom through a girlfriend of mine. She's known him since middle school, so this is not, I didn't really vet him. But I come from an abusive marriage, married 17 and a half years, and he would not touch me. So I spent basically 17 years literally not being touched.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. That's why I'm in therapy.
Yes.
So my poor Dom, he really didn't believe me. I don't think when I told him when we first got together that I had only had sex 5 times. And so I went into it sex-oriented, which is not about the BDSM lifestyle because I didn't know anything about it. I came from a Southern Baptist, which I'm not, and I don't bring up religion, sorry. Came from a very religious background. And so
You're
all
good,
these
by the way.
things,
I'm just trying to avoid people just having fights for no reason. Just FYI, I think this is a great opportunity for me to just say that. I love everyone here. You can believe whatever you believe or not believe whatever you don't want to believe. The reason why I have those boundaries around politics and religion is everyone gets their fucking panties in a twist on social media if someone disagrees with someone or someone sees something differently. And I want this place to be a respite from all of that. And so that's why I have those boundaries. It has nothing to do with you can't, share, what your background is or anything like that. I don't want anyone to feel that I'm trying to censor. I'm actually trying to avoid nonsensical bullshit.
So giving you my background. That's all I was going to say. I wasn't going to say anything else. So when we got together, I just didn't know anything about BDSM. I really didn't know anything about sex. That's not, at my age, you would think that wouldn't be the case. So he backed way off. He's a really good Dom, but I got frustrated because I didn't realize he was doing his job well. He wanted me to research on my own and all this stuff, which caused me to have kind of a split from him because we are long distance only. So anything that's kind of like a scene, which is all basically either, phone, video, that kind of thing. And he is married and has family, which is fine. I knew that going into this. I have no problem with that. But let's see, it's kind of complicated. So he's into like water sports and that kind of thing. And so part of our dynamic before our split in November, we did split for just a few weeks. That was all on me. He had me where I would have to ask to go to the bathroom all the time, which is fine. That was part of our dynamic. And but I gave up the DS relationship because I didn't understand BDSM and I didn't understand my role as a sub. I really didn't. I'm trying to learn it on my own and got frustrated. And then, I dropped the dynamic just for like 3 or 4 weeks and he took me back, thank goodness. Because I was hoarding. I mean, honest, it's just the way it is, because this is all long distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I had one night with an old boyfriend and realized that I could not go back to a vanilla relationship. That is not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend said, well, why don't you just train him? And I was like, train him? I'm the sub.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, he wouldn't do anything that was, of my new lifestyle. He didn't even know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when I went back to my dom, I think because of the split, and I don't know, maybe it's because we have built trust, that he kind of loosened the reins when I came back. But he did not ask me to start asking permission to go to the bathroom, and I didn't introduce that again. And it's not been brought up. He's been very kind and understanding. But I found myself feeling kind of pulled away from him. I've had a lot of health issues the last 6 months. He's been once again very patient. But I found myself wanting to say things like, because one of the videos that I think that you had up was, how can you make your dominant feel more dominant?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my initial mindset. But then I got thinking about it. I thought, boy, you're circumventing to get what you want. You want to be closer to this man, because BDSM lifestyle to me is so seductive. And what I'm learning and what I have learned, especially from the one night stand and then coming back with him, I can't go back, and I crave more and more. And I know he's married, and I don't want to lose the dynamic, and I don't really know even where to go with this, but I just am so drawn to the whole lifestyle and being a submissive. I was going to ask him, do you want me to start asking to go to the bathroom again? And I thought, why are you doing this? Is it to circumvent, to get closer? Am I topping from the bottom? And I'm trying to keep my heart in check, because this man, if he can do what he can do to me from 7 hours away, I can't imagine what it's going to be like in person, because he's taken time to get to know me and work out to me. We are working to that. But after 18 months, we're just now working into meaning to be physical.
Mm-hmm.
So he has spent all this time getting to know me and be patient with me and watch me grow. I got frustrated because he didn't want to give me what videos to watch, what things to learn. He wanted me to do it on my own. And because he has, that's made me stronger. And it's really healthy, but it's taken me 18 months to learn, So I just don't know how to keep my heart in check. I'm trying not to top from the bottom, and I want to be a good submissive. I'm not a homewrecker. I don't want to split his family up, but I really have some true feelings for him, because I've never been cared for. He spent today, I woke up with a migraine every couple of hours. Have a headache. You need to do this. You need to do that. Just checking on me, caring for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's it. I don't even know what to ask you, except I don't want to end the dynamic, but I want more.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there can't be more,
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you kind of presented yourself with your own options just now. If you are developing intimate or romantic feelings for this dominant, and it's more than just a play partner, and you feel like your feelings are taking over, and you cannot compartmentalize, and you do want more, and he cannot give you more, then you have to make a decision as to what level of pain you're willing to endure. And I know that you mentioned that he's married and you don't want to be a homewrecker, and you know that there can't be more. So it sounds to me like boundaries have already been fully discussed there. And if that's the case, where he's already made it very clear that this is the boundaries that my wife and I have, this is the boundaries that I have with my submissives, etc., and there cannot be more, even if we meet physically, even if we play in person, even if we have sex in our play, whatever, it can't go beyond that, then you have to ask yourself, are you willing to continue going deeper, getting more and more emotionally invested? And are you willing to deal with the pain that is going to happen when you get too attached and he can't give you more.
Yeah, see, and I'm such a softie. This has been hard for me, and I knew it from the get-go because I'm kind of a romantic, and but I mean, he's never. Anytime that I even make, like, I'm not allowed to even use like the little smiley face with the winky and the heart. Like, he's wants none of that. So even if something could be mistaken for what I'm saying, he shuts it down immediately. So there's not been anything dishonest. He's a man of honor. I mean, he's a good man.
Has he?
His wife wants nothing to do with the DS relationship. She doesn't. In fact, I don't think they even sleep together. But that's not my business.
Yeah, that's often the case. And so when it comes to things like that, then he's walking a line that, in my opinion, cannot really be maintained. But a lot of male dominants try to do it, and a lot of female subs get their hearts broken, and this happens. So I would say to you that if you have already been met with a clear boundary, then there's not much that you can do at this point to get more. Now, if you're wanting more of a power exchange, if you're wanting, to feel more submissive, have more tasks, etc., have those boundaries around permission to urinate, things like that, then I would say you can voice those. Like, I really enjoyed, but again, it has to be from a vulnerable place of you just sharing, where you go, back when you were having me ask permission to urinate, I really enjoyed that, and it made me feel really connected to you. Is that something that we could consider going forward? I think if you have anything like that you are interested in, then you can bring it up in that way. That's very just vulnerable and just sharing how you feel, not demanding, none of that. But even to that point, like you said, and I think you have a lot of wisdom in identifying that you're wanting to ask him for that because it made you feel close and connected, and you're not feeling as close and connected, and you want to feel close and connected in the way that you did before because you are getting more and more attached. And so it's really a matter of you determining how much pain you want.
I knew that this would eventually be the end of our relationship. I don't think that he would ever walk away from it because he's had trouble finding a submissive for years. That's why we got introduced. But I can't walk away from this lifestyle. I can't. I will never go back. I love everything about being a submissive. It is just who I am. And if I could, lick his boots in the evening, I probably would. I mean, whatever he needed, just to make sure that his day was comfortable. And not disregarding who I am either, but I just love the role. My love languages are physical touch and servant. INFP and a 5 wing 6 in my Enneagram, and anxious, and I'm PTSD on top of that. So I think I'm just kind of the whole package, plus being a relaxation therapist and health coach. Like, I think I'm the whole package for somebody. My problem is I think the anxious part is what comes in. I don't want to let go of him because I don't want to be not seen. He sees me. When I get up in the morning, I have to text him, and I'll tell him I'm going to go get my coffee, but maybe Ollie, I have a little 4-pound Yorkie. Sometimes he'll just lay here and snuggle for a second. So it might take me a minute to get up. That man knows me so well, he'll know that I'm still laying here like 10 minutes later instead of getting up. You need to get up now. Like, I don't even know how he knows it. Because I don't do it often. I usually get up and do exactly and stay on task and do, my tasks for the day. But I just don't want to give that up.
And I'm not saying that you have to. I'm not saying that you have to give it up. But I know this particular dynamic might just not be sustainable for you long term. And maybe this dynamic is allowing those desires to be stirred up and awakened, and you're learning and you are getting experience as a submissive. But I this is really important for me to say because you are a smitten kitten right now, and it's very normal when it comes to submissives. But what concerns me is some of the things that you said, the really, really abusive marriage, the PTSD, the complete lack of sexual intimacy, him being very dismissive with you all those years. When we are mistreated, chronically mistreated for so long, our reference point of what's normal or right or healthy gets very, very skewed. And so, yes, this dominant sounds like a good dominant. They sound like they know what they're doing. They sound experienced. They sound present. But you are looking at this man like a god, almost. Like, this man is so good. He knows when I'm still in bed. Yeah, you know what? Give me a couple hours talking to you, and I could probably do the same thing. I'm not trying to discredit him as a man. I'm just trying to go that the things that you're experiencing from this man is what healthy love and nurturing and care look like. It's not crazy. It's not extravagant. He's not doing anything that's going above and beyond and blowing my mind. I'm not saying he's a shitty guy. I'm not saying he's a shitty dominant.
No, he's not.
But my point is, he's not blowing my panties off. You're not telling me anything that's mind-blowing to me, but it's mind-blowing to you. And I think it's mind-blowing to you because you've had so much mistreatment and your reference point of what impresses you is so low right now. That my point in telling you this is to encourage you that just because you think this guy is the end all be all, it's not. It just feels so intense and so amazing because you've had scraps for years. And now you're getting just the basic level of kindness and dignity and respect and attention, and it's blowing your mind and it's making you feel like he's a god. No, he's not. When you're starving, a saltine cracker can taste like a ribeye. Exactly. And so I'm not saying that this man is a bad dominant, a bad man, nothing like this, but you've already told me that he cannot give you what you're looking for. So maybe at that point, that's the point where you have to get with yourself and go, just because I feel like this guy is blowing my mind and rocking my world, reality is this is normal. This is what normal nurturing should be like. And it's great that he treats you with such kindness and dignity and respect and nurturing. That's wonderful. But my point is, he's not the only one out there who can do that. Your reference point has just been so skewed.
Yeah. Well, plus he opened my world to BDSM, which I won't go back from. So, the whole thing is a brand new world for me. So that's why I was bringing it up, because I'm trying to keep it in perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And submission is very deep and very intense and very intimate just by itself. But if this is someone who introduced you to the lifestyle, it's yes. Like it's the same kind of thing like when narcissists go for virgins, because it's really easy to get deep levels of physical, emotional, and even spiritual attachment if you deflower them. That's what a lot of narcissists do, because it's like, oh, they were the first one, and there's this attachment that takes place. Same thing. He took your BDSM virginity, so to speak, and you have this initial first love kind of attachment. Yeah. And that's very normal. Yeah. That's very normal for a submissive, especially a new submissive who's like finally feels seen And you said that, and you said, I don't want to move on because I'm scared of not being seen.
Yeah, he's really stepped above my art business. He's encouraging in my art business and different things. I mean, I've never had anybody do that before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
And that's good that he does. But again, that should be just like what you should expect normally. Like, it's not going above and beyond. You have a benchmark. Exactly. You have a new benchmark where it's not, your benchmark is not neglect and dismissal. Your new benchmark is you're actually valued and cared for.
It's like when you were talking about the kids' basic needs being met.
Mm-hmm.
Parents having children and meeting their basic needs. Let's see, what was that in the video? Oh, we just did this a couple of weeks ago. You know, they're not doing anything special by just meeting a child's basic needs.
Yes.
A given. Do you remember the remark you made?
Yes, I can't quote myself, but yes, I know exactly what you're talking about 100%. Mm-hmm.
He's meeting my basic needs, and I'm like, oh, but you were like, no, that's nothing. That's just doing the basic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, family's backpack, money, school, clothes, whatever.
Yes.
That's just meeting their basic needs. That's not being a good parent. So he's not necessarily being a great dom. He's just being a dom, a good dom. But there's so much more out there, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yes. 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 He might be a great dom. He might be a good dom. He might just be a dom, but your reference point has been so low that I think that's why you're finding yourself so attached. And so I'm just trying to speak to that logical part of your brain to go, you can feel deeply attached and you can feel deeply emotional, and that's fine and that's great. But if he's already set a very clear boundary in terms of what he can provide for you, and your heart is really getting attached to him, then you have to make up your mind. How much pain are you willing to endure? Is where you're at the level of attachment right now? Is this enough pain? Is this too much pain? Or can I handle it? And, you know, if and when that day comes where I am head over heels in love and attached to this man, and we can't go forward because he's married with a family, what am I going to do? Can I handle it? Do I want to put myself through that? All of these are questions that you have to ask yourself as a submissive.
Yeah.
And I hate that I have to tell you that answer. I wish I could give you a better answer, but that's part of your power and your autonomy as a submissive, is you can still feel your feelings, absolutely, be enraptured with your dominant, absolutely, but you still have free will and choice at the end of the day. And you are still absolutely allowed to go, no, this is going to be too painful for me to continue getting invested. So I'm going to take a step back and actually find a dominant that can meet me at the level of investment that I need. And there's nothing wrong with that if you decide that that's what you want and need.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said earlier, I knew that because I'm so soft-hearted, I knew that that's what it's going to come down to, unless he for some reason changes, and I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got 19 years, 20 years in with his wife. He's not going to, and I wouldn't ask him to. I wouldn't ask him to walk away from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So if that's where it's at, then you kind of already know that that's probably where it's going to go. And like everyone here is saying, you are allowed to want what you want. You deserve to get what you want. And if you want to be, and it sounds like you would like to be the submissive partner to a dominant man, where you are not just his submissive, you have an exclusive relationship with this man where you can serve him on a 24/7 basis.
Pretty much it, yeah.
Okay. So there you go. If that's what you want, then that's what you're looking for. And that might be, if, you know, you're open to it, and, you know, a dominant out there that you really connect with is poly or open and it works for everyone, great. But even if that makes you feel uncomfortable, and you're like, no, I don't want him to share. I don't want to share. I want all him all the time. Then that's great. Then own that too. You are allowed to want what you want. If you want a taco with sour cream on it, you should be allowed to have a taco with sour cream on it. I mean, I disagree with that one, Rob, but that's what he's saying to encourage you.
We had talked about being open, and his wife knows that I'm here. Mm-hmm. She says as long as I don't get more attention than she does, she's fine. She's fine with it. So, you know, and we had talked about being open in our dynamic, and I'm a little curious about some things, be a little bit more open to some things. But I don't know. This is all brand new to me, you know. Mm-hmm. It would have to be with someone that I trusted with specific guidelines, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I would just encourage you to really dig into your own limits and really truly where you're comfortable. You don't need, and they can change, and they probably will. But I would encourage you to just take some time by yourself, get very, very honest with yourself about what you're wanting, what you're looking for, what would actually make you happy and fulfilled as a submissive, and jot some of those things down, and then make your decisions accordingly. But
I love the idea of total power exchange, not to the point of being a slave, but I do like the power exchange. And
so that's what I'm saying. You want to serve and be connected to a dominant partner as their submissive partner. And you want to honor them and worship them and serve them and play with them and have sexy time with them. Like, this is what it sounds like to me. And if you want all those things, then jot them all down. You don't have to show anyone, but it's for you to be honest with yourself, to not betray yourself or gaslight yourself, and to honor your own desires. And I would highly encourage you to do that as you continue on in this dynamic, so that it can kind of help you determine if you need to walk away, when is that point?
Oh, good grief. That would be probably pretty soon. I don't think my heart is, like, if we broke things off right now, I don't think I would go to pieces or anything. But I think if I gave it 6 more months, I probably would. You know, because you're talking about, that'd be like 2 years that we've been together almost. That's a long time to have invested for not much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think but I've been learning in the first 8 months, you know, I really didn't know what I was doing. So yeah, it's probably time to walk away.
Yeah, that's going to be your decision. But I would say, because I've heard this comment from you a few times. I was just new, or I'm new, or I'm still learning, or I'm learning, or I was learning, or whatever. And I very much understand that you're new and that you need to learn. Absolutely. But I'm picking up that line a little bit, almost like a gaslighting point, where you're kind of disqualifying yourself from being maybe super honest with your boundaries or your desires, because you're like, well, I'm new, I still have things to learn, whatever. And I'm just cautioning you lovingly to not do that. You are still so valid as a submissive, and you are allowed to have your boundaries and your limits as a submissive.
I think the struggle for me that's coming is that I am learning what I want. And I think I'm becoming uncomfortable with that because I'm not getting it. And I think that's why I was asking him, you know, can I please go pee? You know, like bringing that up again. Like, I'm craving so much more that it's either we're going to have to go deeper or not, you know, because I just need more, and that's okay. I need more than he can give me.
Yeah, absolutely. And if the wife is saying, you can have a submissive, but she can't have more attention than me, then no, she's not cool with it. Yes, it's causing a lot of strain in their marriage. Yes, she's chronically insecure. And yes, she's probably checking over his shoulder to figure out what he's doing and with whom and when. So I don't think that my point in saying that is, I don't think that you're going to be able to get much more from him, because if you have a dominant, think about it. If you have a dominant that's so intimate with you that they are telling you when you can and cannot urinate, I fucking guarantee you that his wife does not allow him to tell her when she can and cannot urinate. So he already has deeper emotional intimacy with you in that one point than he has with his wife. She's going to pick up on that. And if her caveat to him being open or having submissives is they can't have more attention than me, she can pull that plug at any fucking time she just gets a little too insecure.
Oh, that's not good. I didn't even think about it from that perspective at all.
Mm-hmm.
He's not said anything negative so far.
Well, he wouldn't, because you're the submissive and he's the dominant. You do not have a mentor relationship or friendship or camaraderie or anything like that. Like, this is DS. He's not going to talk to you in this, I need emotional support kind of way about his relationship.
Yeah, no, he's not. That's totally separate.
Mm-hmm.
We keep it. Yeah.
But it's not, though. I mean, it can never be separate for him, because if that's the limit that his wife has given him, you can have a submissive, but she can't get more attention than me. He either has completely disregarded that, or he's constantly in his head trying to strike this perfect balance between being a good connected dominant with you and not betraying and triggering his wife.
That's probably more likely.
And that's exhausting. Like, that cannot be maintained.
Yeah.
So I think you have a lot of variables here that you just need to look at and consider and just be really honest with yourself. And if you feel like this connection is worth you getting hurt over, if that day comes and you're willing to go through that pain in order to have what you have right now, then that is all you. And you can stay in this as long as you want or not. And so
no. I've had enough pain.
You've had enough pain.
That kind of pain. I'm done with that. I want to move on to the good kind of pain. That's what I got the panel for.
Yes, we only want the good kind of pain now. Absolutely, absolutely. And so we'll be here no matter what. Absolutely, we'll be here no matter what, and we will support you no matter what. But just no matter what you decide to do, just know that this isn't the only dominant on planet Earth. He isn't, he's good, but he's not like the only one who can do to you what you're experiencing. And you will find a dominant that is compatible with you, and you will find what you're looking for. Just take your time and trust, like I was saying earlier, trust that you're not going to be alone for the rest of your life. Trust that you are going to find a compatible dominant partner, and trust that you are going to be in this lifestyle with someone that's great for you if you do not betray yourself and if you make choices that honor your boundaries.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm starting to do, is betray myself because I'm staying with him because I don't want to let go. Like, that's no longer good for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think what Connor said is really insightful and really encouraging, and I want to read it to you. He's saying, I wouldn't have been ready for the little I have now if I hadn't grown with my other littles before them.
Aww.
And you're going to find the same thing, my friend. You're going to find when you get with that dominant that is so good for you and that can give you the level of connection you're looking for, then this experience here where you are being trained and you're learning and you're growing and you're discovering how to honor yourself while you still honor your dominant, you are going to be so much better equipped to serve and to surrender and to be a submissive. And every experience that you have is just setting you up for more and more success as a submissive. So beautifully said, Connor. I think that was great encouragement and a great perspective. So I know that that's not like the best, most prettiest, lovely advice that I could give you, but How you feeling with all that, Silver and Suede?
It's exactly what I needed. I couldn't thank you anymore. I just needed to hear it from somebody else.
Yeah. So you were kind of already feeling that? You were kind of already feeling that?
Yeah. I just needed to say it out loud, it'll help me work through it when I talk to him about it.
Yeah.
Because I want to treat him he does treat me with respect, but he is not what I need. So yeah, it just needs to happen.
Yeah. And you know what? You can always just start it off with just an open-ended conversation. It doesn't have to be a big deal or a big monumental, so we have to talk and I hate that I have to do this. And it doesn't have to be like that. You can just start it off really cool and casual. Like, just, hey, I just want to kind of check in and see where we're at and see how we're feeling. And, and maybe just share some thoughts and some feelings and see what he has to say about it, and then you guys can go from there, and it won't feel like all of this weight or pressure is on you. Like, this is a decision that you both can make together, and maybe he can help foster a really beautiful, loving kind of separation and redirection for you. Who knows what other kinds of connections and things he has too, Yeah,
that's probably good. Yeah, that's awesome. You all are just great. I just love this community so much.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're here. And thank you so much for sharing. I know this was your first time, and it always takes so much courage and boldness for us to be vulnerable and share. So everyone give Silver and Suede a round of applause for sharing and for being so open and vulnerable. We appreciate you so much, Silver and Suede. Do you have any other questions, comments, or criticisms for me before we wrap it up today?
Just keep on doing what you're doing. Nobody can do it like you do.
Well, thank you so much, my friend. All right, Mathos is crying. Why are you crying? Mathos? What's going on? I don't know what got you so emotional. I'm so glad. Because I was convinced, okay, wait, I didn't read this. Because I was convinced the first submissive girl was the person I needed. Turn out they weren't, or absolutely broke you first time. Oh. So good, Rob. Yes, we love you. I remember that. And I remember telling you, she's stupid. Don't waste your time. Because I was so emotional and you're drunk as a skunk. Oh, nice. All right, bedtime for Mathos. We did. I know. That was memories. Memories, Rob. All right, everyone. So we had a good time tonight. We learned something. We feel good. We feel connected. We feel enlightened. Yes, super fun. Yes. All right. Wonderful. Well, you beautiful souls, beautiful, silly, kinky, amazing souls. Dynamite. All right. So, everyone, I love you all so much. Thank you all for being here. And if no one has anything else, we're going to wrap it up for the evening, everyone. And let me see if I can. Do I just hit record again? I do this every time. I love you all too. Does anyone remember how I stopped this? I just hit record again, right? I think so. Good night, Cricket. Love you so much. Hit all the buttons. Okay.